fucking serious?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Ishnay. Good evening, welcome to Vape Talk UK, episode number 115. Do you even talk, bro? This week, joining us, we have Mr. Wadika.
Hiya!
Did I get it right this week?
Yeah. Well, now that Chris has told you how to say it, yeah.
Well, yeah. We have Mr. JB. I don't want him to cry about me using his name. Also known as Skittles, so I'm led to believe.
Because he likes to taste the rainbow.
I think there's another reason.
Definitely is another reason.
We definitely won't go into it on the show.
Oh, what a load of bollocks! And also we have Mr. Clark joining us this evening from Do You Even Build, Bro?
Hiya.
You're all right.
Hiya.
Is that all I'm going to get off everyone all night? Just hiya.
Well, I've just fucking built a coil and then it got caught on a nail and I flung it somewhere after I'd already fucked up the first one. So,
right, Chris, show me your nails because I don't believe that for 1 minute. You're either going to have no nails or pasties.
it got caught under my nail. It didn't get caught in my nails. I haven't got any fucking nails. But the point is that I've just already fucked up a build about 2 minutes before we went live. I think the answer to the question tonight is no, I don't even build, bro.
The real question is, does James even build?
No, I've got Scott to build for me.
Exactly. Even the build bro himself doesn't build, bro.
Do you not build, bro?
You don't have a best mate who's a coil builder and build yourself, do you?
The irony of naming your company.
The irony of saying he's your best mate when he's definitely cheating on you with Jason.
Bless. We all had a good week.
Cracking week. Absolutely fantastic week.
Is that something you want to share with us, or is your sex life?
It's my personal business, mate. I don't talk about that on air.
Good weekend, apart from a couple of letdowns.
A couple?
Yeah, you being one of them.
Who was the other?
JB.
Like you're disappointed that I wasn't there.
Let's set the scenario. Let's set the scene. So at the weekend it was TYV's reopening evening. I had planned to attend said evening.
Told us you was coming.
I was coming. Saturday evening came. I got held up at work, didn't end up getting home from work till gone 9 o'clock. Then there's what, two and a bit hour drive, James?
Yeah, between 2 and a half.
Can I just say that Mark's excuse is always, oh, I got caught up at work, but he just fails to sort of take into consideration the fact that we know he owns the business and can set when the fuck he leaves, what the fuck he does, and when the fuck he does it. So when we're, me and Dale going on holiday this month, fuck me, a couple of weeks' time, Mark's like, oh, I can't come, I can't get it off work. You own the company, you cunt. There's no way you can't get it off work.
I can't, but have you seen the Muppets that work for me?
And I'm not being funny. I saw how swamped and fucking overwhelmed you were when Martin wasn't there for a week. So I think you should give him a bit more credit than you do, you can.
Zero credit. You've met Martin.
Well, he is.
Which links nicely into something we're talking about tonight. He is old. I'm not
He's playing Jesus in year 3.
He does. He hangs around with people quite a lot younger than him as well.
I think there's a name for people like that, isn't there?
I hear his first job leaving school was waiting tables at the Last Supper.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Probably. Anyway, so we've introduced James. We'll let James start this evening. What have you done today? What's your favourite film? When did you last have a wank and what are you vaping on?
I've been at work all day in the lab, bottling 10 mils.
So he's been wanking in the toilets.
Favourite film? Probably The Fast and the Furious, the first one.
What?
The Fast and the Furious.
Oh, come on, James. You can do better than that.
I don't really watch films. I watch YouTube videos.
If you did watch films, you definitely wouldn't be saying Fast and the Furious as your favourite film.
You drive a Nexus, don't you?
It's a good film, to be fair.
They don't get him started on the Lexus.
Do you even film, bro?
Last time I had a wank was just before this show.
Shows your hands.
Oh, they're clean. I washed them.
Yeah.
I am vaping on Minikin with Goon, with some aliens from Scott, and vaping on At Home Dough Roll.
Sounded like you said At Home Dough Roll.
Rottle.
Just the one.
Yeah. I'm
You're
a
not very greedy, are you?
very simple man.
So
Say that again. I'm about to fucking have a hissy fit.
Yeah, that's me.
don't feel cue to pass it on.
Got to stew then.
Oh, just as I plug one of them onto charge. All right. Order me one every week. Vaping clean slime, 15 milligram, mouth to lung, delicious, right up in my face. I have got my Vulcan 1, Pandora, usual combo with some nice, quite dirty now, staged fused Claptons from the Coilologist. And is my camera gonna focus on them? Just not having that, is it? Just not having that at all. There?
No,
There?
not happening.
Okay, let's just pretend that there's some really nice stage fused Claptons in there from the Coilologist. On that, I've got Blunt Nose from Greedy Fish, which is Riyadh's juice line. Riyadh, you know that dickhead that used to do YouTube, and
That clone of Naked Fish.
it wasn't that big a deal, but his juice is quite a big deal. That's a blueberry donut peanut butter kind of deal, and it's fucking delicious.
Did you actually get to taste it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's lovely.
I kind of got bottles wafted in my face, and then that
I've
was it.
tried the mango donut. That one's quite nice.
Yeah, they're all really good, to be honest. Yeah. And then I've got Therium 166 DNA with the Churchill RTA from Apothecary. Come on, focus, you prick. Focus!
Yeah,
Oh, look, if you get really close, it focuses. Yeah. That's the Churchill RTA from Apothecary. And in that, I'm back on Piston Head from Cult Vapors, which is a vanilla cheesecake donut, which sounds weird, but tastes fucking nice.
Have you tried Roots from Cool?
No, I haven't tried Roots yet, no.
Roots is nice.
We've tried Roots from Levi.
We've got a bottle of Gorilla Grape here as well from
If you
them.
like grape, try Roots.
If you like what?
Grape. It's grape, mango, pineapple, lemonade.
I'm a bit bored of grape vapes, you know? Big Kev says, how does the Churchill compare to the Sherman? We don't want to give away any spoilers, so just you hold your horses. Stick around, Big Kev. Keep watching the show and you'll find out. Yeah, that's me. What, shall I throw it to JB to be a cunt, or shall I let Mark take his turn?
Let Mark take his turn. Fuck's sake.
I've got a screaming child. Go to Chris.
Oh, unlucky. Mark's got to go with Darcy, Chris. Oh, sorry, Chris. What are you vaping on, mate? How's your day been? What type of build are you trying to make? And what's your what do you think is the most influential hip hop album ever released?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I'm vaping on. Where do I start?
Philip Bock and Salt Mix.
Yeah, Belly Box and Salt Nicks. I don't even need to go into that. I'm vaping on the Vulcan 1 thingy majiggy with a Pandora and a little
Cryptid Chris.
Did you make that?
I made that, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks.
I like that.
Mine.
I'm vaping Grapple by Juice Mama.
Let me guess. That's mango and guava.
Gotta be.
Nope. It's grape and apple, I think. I've also vaping on Rockmod's DNA 75 with Churchill. Sorry, I'm still stuck in angry build mode. And then now I've got 830, which is the same wicks and build from the last week's show. And it still tastes and vapes good.
I do have one more question for you, Chris.
What?
You okay, hun?
Having a bit of a breakdown. But I'm sure I'll survive once this build's done. What were the other questions? Oh, wait, I'm still vaping on shit. Oh, this is going to be Justice League DNA 200. With
Love a bit of IP theft.
Huh?
Love a bit of IP theft.
Yeah, why not? It was aftermarket acid etching.
Yeah, I'm sure DC Comics were very happy to give permission for that.
Excuse me, you cunt. I spend enough fucking money on DC Comics shit for them to fucking put up with it. And in that, I haven't decided yet. And my day's been pretty wank. And
am I allowed to offer congratulations, Chris, or are we not talking about that?
You can offer what you like, mate.
Big congratulations to Mr. JB, for God's sake. You've announced that your other half's pregnant, haven't you?
Yeah, not the show, but
well, I'm sure we have. And you found out the sex of the child today, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I'm guessing this is why he's not very happy.
Yeah.
Is it a girl?
No, it's not. It's a boy.
It's one girl.
How many boys is that now, Chris?
Huh?
How many boys have you got now?
Well, that'd be 3, you know.
Yeah.
I just
You still didn't answer the most important question of all of them, though, Chris.
I think possibly one of my personally most influential hip hop albums of all time may be Illmatic. Do you know who it's by?
Don't know it.
Oh, fuck me. It's by Nas.
I've heard of her.
That's Nas if you're English.
Yeah, I was about to say NAS. It's NAS.
It's not Nas, is it?
If you're American, it's Nas.
That's what he calls himself, Nas. Nas. It's always been Nas. So fuck yourself. You haven't even heard of the album, so you can suck.
Trigger warning.
Anyway, it's a fucking good album.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. I'm really disappointed in your answer.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
I thought that maybe you'd say, like, I don't know, something like Grandmaster Flash or Sugar Hill or like NWA or Public Enemy or, you know.
See, you're only going down that route because you watched fucking Straight Outta Compton the other day.
Well, kind of. That's certainly where the question came from. Because I was thinking to myself, like, I never actually considered NWA to be as influential as that film highlights they were. Like, when that film starts sort of pointing out all the artists that owe their careers to NWA.
Oh, they're very, very influential in those circles. But do you know what I mean? We weren't brought up in fucking 80s Detroit or Compton. Do you know what I mean? We were. Do you know what I mean? We're English.
Where's Nas from?
I don't know.
Dobry.
I don't know where he's from, but in the influence of that album had a very much. It was very much influential in the hip hop scene of that day. Do you know what I mean? It sort of broke the mold when it comes to that music. That's why it was so influential. It wasn't particularly. I thought you meant by influential, like as in what had the biggest influence on me. So hence my Nas answer. It was a fucking brilliant album. But he's from New York, I think. In answer to your other question.
I appreciate your answer.
What's your most influential fucking hip hop album of all time? Cut Breath?
Ooh, It Takes a Nation of Millions by Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mark, what's your favourite hip hop album of all time?
I've got to be honest. I wasn't really a hip hop fan.
Did you like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys?
I was actually, yeah.
Not even a bit of Eminem?
Yeah.
Everyone likes Eminem.
I don't think that I own the album.
I remember having an album on tape that my mate recorded because my mum wouldn't let me buy the CD.
Oh, here's a good one.
Go on.
Darren Bethel in chat says, guys, what's your favourite 25mm RDA and which do you prefer, brass or copper med mods? I think that means mech mods.
I'd say Breaking Atoms, main source, if we're sticking with the... Anyway, carry on.
What? This show has taken a very weird turn, like very briefly. Favorite 25mm RDA has got to be Pandora.
Mine would be the Kennedy.
See, I really like the Kennedy, but I've kind of got
Brass and copper. I prefer stainless, I'm afraid. Sorry to be the odd one out, but
that wasn't an option.
I know, but I don't like brass and copper because I'm sick of it now.
Yeah, but the question was, which do you prefer between brass and copper? Not do you like brass or copper?
It would be brass. I think it looks a bit better.
There we go. There we go.
But I'd have to.
Vape Talk UK, getting blood from stones.
Yeah, I'll ditto that, brass man. I would have said Kennedy, but I feel I have to say Pandora.
Don't say it because you fucking have to. You can't. If you don't believe it, fuck yourself. I mean, if you don't believe it, that's your opinion.
See, I want to say the Pandora, but may or may not possibly be releasing a 25mm RDA this year.
Give me that shit. You won't be releasing fuck all unless I get your vote.
So, very hard to say Pandora, because probably got my own coming out very soon.
You haven't even tried the prototype, so there's your integrity behind that, cunt.
Yeah, but it's mine. It'll be my favourite because it's mine. In the same way that you probably
current favourite. Fuck, can someone just say Pandora?
My current favourite is the Pandora. It's very, very nice. Thank you.
Right, that's what I thought.
Oh, someone's just said best high-end RDA.
And I prefer brass. Best high-end RDA.
Yeah, I like brass.
Not brass.
Nah, I'm more of a brass man myself.
Okay.
Best high-end RDA. Is that really a thing anymore?
I'm not really interested in high-end RDAs. I think they're all a bit boring.
Yeah.
They're all just tiny little things with squonk pins and fucking clamps these days.
My favourite is the where the fuck is it? The prototype of the one I'm making somewhere.
Mine's the Soul RDA.
What price class is high end?
I don't know.
What is your...
Generally, James, I think it's if you have to ask for permission to buy it.
Ask who are we asking permission from?
You know, like when you have to go on lists on Facebook.
Oh, I thought you meant like your missus or your mum.
You know, like when you have to go on lists on Facebook, like you have to ask the company for the honour of being allowed to buy their product off them.
I won't even bother, to be honest.
Or as Chandler said the other day, you enter a raffle to have the opportunity to buy.
I wouldn't even bother. I'd rather be able to go into a shop or go on a website and just buy one.
No, you see, I do enter randomizers, and I know JB does as well.
Yeah, but see, it's been a long time since I found something worthy of the effort, and half is the only thing that is worthy of the effort at the minute, in my opinion. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Half mods are fucking beautiful.
One?
I think they're well worth the effort you have to go to get one. Whereas an RDA, unless you're hand making it, which most people aren't, let's face it, unless you're hand making it, why the fuck do you need to have a raffle for someone to earn the right to buy it? Do you know what I mean? These half mods are handmade. Each one's like individual. A fucking lot of effort goes into making them. And I can see why there's such a pain in the ass to get one.
Yeah.
I found it was quite easy to get one, to be honest.
You got one?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, was it a 3D printed one, mate?
Yeah, it was the first of the Alamide.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not talking about them. I'm on about the fucking Stabwood and Delrin ones they make. They're beautiful. I'm actually looking at a picture right now. He's put up in the Ostrix post. They're actually making the Alumide ones available to the public on the website.
They're actually releasing the print, are they?
Yeah, I've got it up on my other screen right now. It's a picture and there's just loads of
No, they're not. No, they're not releasing the print, but they're making the 3D ones available to buy without X1 in.
They sold out at Vape Fest in the first hour.
Yeah,
because they're nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if we get into that chat about exclusivity, then it's an entirely different conversation, isn't it? But the true answer is I don't really have a favorite high-end RDA, to be honest. I don't think much to high-end RDAs. I think most of them don't really suit my kind of vaping these days. I think the Crichton might be the only one, and that's only 75 quid, isn't it?
What, the Crichton?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, those.
That might be the only one that would actually potentially suit my kind of vaping.
I'd still stick with Kennedy. They're 90 quid.
Yeah, I'd say Kennedy, if you're talking just price above and beyond 70 quid.
Kennedy, yeah.
And the Kennedy's actually come with an autumn cap now as well, which is an added bonus.
I've actually got a really nice Kennedy cap.
I think the only thing that does let Kennedy down is they just come in a baggie. You don't get them back.
But I think the armors, sorry, I'm just responding to the chats. I think the armors are available. And I know I looked at them earlier this evening and went to click buy. It was just the airflow that put me off just a little bit too tight, in my opinion. But now they look like cracking at RDAs. But anyone looking for an armor, get yourself over to France and get one. Where were we? Oh, me.
Yeah, your turn.
My turn. I've got quite an array in front of me this evening. Swipey piece of shit again with the.
That's the second swipey piece of shit. So does that one work?
Yeah, you bought another one.
I did buy another one.
If you don't have the swipe, why don't you just get the older Minikin?
Because they're. I've got one downstairs. I've got one of those little V-God ones.
Oh yeah.
Like this one.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just not a big fan.
I've also got a swipey piece of shit, but I don't use that either.
On top of that, running the Churchill. We'll talk about that later. In there, I am vaping on Toasted from Thick Oil. I've fallen in love with that juice again. Have you noticed the tones that the Churchill brings out?
I thought we weren't spoiling our thought on the Churchill.
Big Mark.
Moving on. I also have a mech in my hand. Purge and a Kennedy 25. Purge and a Kennedy 25. And on that, I'm vaping.
Fuck off.
Bless you.
Say it, Mark. Say its name.
Vaping Hakucho. Hakucho?
Hakucho. Hakucho. You say it exactly how it's written.
Isn't that the dog that stayed at the train station?
And I'm
Actually, yeah, that's true. I think that is a film, isn't it, about a dog?
no idea. I've also got my Old Faithful, Naughty 2, and
65 milligram Heisenberg.
65 milligram
Toilet duck, innit?
Heisenberg, as always. Also, I have with me, having played for a few days, we spoke about it briefly last week, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Mesh.
The Mesh RDA.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yeah, it's called the Mesh.
I saw you live stream about that.
I saw you go live. I didn't bother clicking it.
That's support for you. Yeah, so got it installed, a strip of 316 mesh, trimmed it back because when I installed it, it sat incredibly tall, incredibly tall. Trimmed it back. This one's coming in about 0.17. And surface area, yeah, pretty good.
Would you buy it again?
I did buy it.
Huh?
I did buy it.
Would you buy it again, given the option?
Well, no, I've already got one.
If you lost it, would you buy another one?
No.
Green light.
if aliens came down and took all of your vape gear, is it something that you would out and buy?
Would you swap it for a Westlife CD?
Oh, definitely.
What's the flavour like compared to having a normal coil?
It's different.
In a good way?
It certainly brings out the fruits. In there, I'm running toasted, which is obviously toast with strawberry jam, and it really does pull out the strawberry flavour. It's different. It's not as strong, not as strong in flavour as a using round wire or Claptons or Aliens or whatever your choice is. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's good. I like it. Having never used mesh.
But you're not using mesh in a traditional sense of what.
No, it's not being used as a wick. It's being used.
You can't really compare it to using mesh. It's just, is it shit or is it all right?
It's all right. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's not shit, it's better than we all thought it was going to be.
Well, definitely.
Building on it is so fucking easy.
Well, I'd imagine so.
Have you had a dry hit from the Mesh RTA yet? Lol, it's like chuffing on Hades. I've not, but you can certainly feel the dry hit coming in very quickly. You can taste when it's dry because that vape. It's going to sound daft. That vape isn't as wet, and I like a nice.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I like a nice wet vape, and you feel. You know when that dry. That's on its way. Despite having half a tampon in it, I know that's.
But I say, it looks like you've used a lot of cotton.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Like I said, half a tampon. No, an absolute singe to build on. I like it. It's very good.
James.
I perhaps have a deeper well.
Being the captain, do you even build, bro?
Hello.
Is that even classed as building?
You are?
Can you even class that as building?
Not really. You're just installing more than building, aren't you?
Do you even install, bro? James's new line of mesh dropping at Expo.
To be honest, I never really got on with mesh when it was around the first time, so.
I get it on a Jenny. I get it. Because the flavour is so crisp and so sharp, so pure.
Oh, we got someone asking for a shout out in the chat.
I did just see that. Shall we give Jess Geldof a shout out? I'm not sure who their friend is.
Hi, Jess's friend.
Hi, Jess.
But hopefully your friend gets well soon.
Does your friend have a name?
We're going to have to wait like 40 seconds for it to catch up.
But that would be good to know when shouting someone out. He's called Jimmy.
Get well soon, Jimmy.
Get well, Jimmy. Fix up. Look sharp. Vape on.
Struggling here. I think I've fallen out with this RDA before I built it.
I honestly think that Chris is going to have some sort of breakdown before the end of the evening.
I might very well do.
He's called Jimmy Savile. There we go.
Like the oranges. It's a very exotic name.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
Jimmy, get well soon, mate.
Hope everything's okay.
Jimmy Savile, if you're watching this, we wish you the best. Get well soon.
And Jess, say hello to Dad for me. I hear he's very busy saving the world.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I've just had some vape mail delivered.
So vape mail delivered to your bedroom door. You don't.
So I'd like to say a big thank you to Brian Fox, who's in the chat. I just got one of them.
Boxer squonkers.
And that's an authentic one, Mark.
Ooh.
You've just ordered a clone, haven't you?
I did.
There's tons of sausages of them going around at the minute, isn't there?
Yeah, well, John came in yesterday, and I told him I'd bought a clone off Fast Tag, which hasn't arrived yet. But it was like, well,
code Karma.
I've got one. You can have it if you want it. So he kindly give me it. Thank you, John.
You seem to be doing well for picking up 3D printed squonk boxes for now recently, James.
Yeah.
That's 2 within almost the same month.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, well, yeah. So
yeah, wait, are you not paying him at all?
Hold on a minute. I did not realise it said ginger vapor on it. Bit of a coincidence, really, that, isn't it?
That's why he gave you it. He just went and got that engraved today.
That feels nice.
you happy with that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this Trinity USA 1 RDA is not shit.
You've been complaining about it for the past 20 minutes, Chris.
Oh, it's not that. It's me. Sort of falling apart, I think. But
I'm glad it's that easy to build on, Chris.
it's like a fucking velocity. It's not. It is easy to build on. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Right, go and grab a bottle of gin and chill out.
I could do with a bottle of gin.
We've got some work to do tonight.
Have we?
Yeah, we have. Look.
Right. Anyway,
So this week
back to
then,
hip hop.
do you even hip hop, bro? So part of the auditions that we're doing then, every guest that we invite on is asked to bring with them a topic that they wish to discuss. I had a brief chat with James earlier before the show, and he came back to me with old people.
Elderly. We'll say elderly.
The elderly. Now I know.
What do you hate about old people, James?
I know. Phil Reeves watching this evening. This is in no way a dig at you.
It's nowhere to get any elderly people.
What do you hate about old people, James?
I don't hate old people. I feel like a lot more elderly people should be, I don't know, advised about e-cigs and to help get more elderly people onto them.
Okay, set the scene then, James. So,
well, I've recently just found out that my nana's actually being diagnosed with lung cancer. She's been given 3 months to live. So it's shit, but the damage from all them years of smoking has been done. I just wish that these had come out a lot sooner so I got her onto it. And maybe we could have had a few more years.
How old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
83, 84, something like that. But
and has smoked her entire life?
Pretty much, yeah. But my dad used to work abroad, and he used to come back every fortnight, bring a big amount that he could bring back. She had a wardrobe full of Lambert, like 200 after 200 sleeves all the way up.
How many times did you nick a pack of fags out your nana's wardrobe?
Oh no, about must have been about 8 years ago. She got told to quit.
She got told to quit.
Yeah. But then, so she started giving me them, which I thought is a bit shit. You've been told to quit, so you're giving me them, but that's another story. But I just wish that these were around, because she was the type of person who would smoke one and then light another one with that one before it went out. I can't remember not seeing her with a cigarette in her hand. And I just wish that these were around so that she could have had a bit longer with us, to be honest. But
you know this sort of saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm not saying anything about your nan in that sense. But what I mean is, like, quite a lot of older people are quite stubborn. Now, when I went to buy my car, I was standing outside the dealership having a vape, and some old bloke was there talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, I've smoked for 60 years. Wouldn't be worth using one of them doodads nowadays, would it?" I said, "To be honest, mate," I said, "I don't know. I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything about you." He says, "Yeah, but probably do me more harm than good." And I think no matter what I said in that conversation, it wouldn't have changed his mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel also like people get a bit intimidated, if that's the right thing to say, when they see a shop, because it is mainly younger people.
I had a couple come in today, and I'll probably put a 70, 75 maybe. And she came in. It was the first time she she'd heard that smoking was 90%, vaping was 95% Vaper, safer than smoking, yada yada yada. And she was really interested in just finding out more information. She was doing her due diligence. She was asking the right questions. You know, she was clearly worried about something that was reasonably new to her. And her response to me was, well, I've had a good innings. He's not killed me yet. However, I do have customers. You know, I have Beryl that comes in always same time, Friday lunchtime, Friday afternoon, comes in, picks up her 4 bottles of V4, 12 milligram, Tutti Frutti or whatever it is. And you know what? She will stand there. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. And she'll stand there and she will happily have a lovely conversation. And we've got screens behind the counter, and there's a few vape tricks that are playing on the screen, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, and she will quite happily stand there and chat with all our other customers. And she's interested in cloud chasing, and she stands there and loves to watch a trick. And you know, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And she said to me, Mark, why weren't these out before now? You know, how come I've never heard about it before?
Yeah. See, we've even had an elderly man come into our shop before. It's quite a while ago now. And he even admitted to smoking in the shower. Now, that's an accomplishment in itself.
I used to love having a fag in the bath.
He still comes in to this day to buy his juice, and he hasn't touched a cigarette since. Yeah. And I can tell because when he comes in, his voice is a lot clearer because he really had a really husky voice, and he was coughing all the time. And he seems fine now, to be honest. But I just feel like things should be advertised more for elderly people. It's like Dale's on about starting up a new campaign, should I say, where they're going to try and get elderly people in, give them a free device, a bottle of juice, and try and get them onto it, which I think is a really good idea.
We've had exactly that conversation.
I think it's a really, really good idea because then for them to be intimidated, it takes that all away. And when they actually come in, learn a bit about it, speak to us, and then they start to feel more confident. And you put in years on people's lives just by the jobs we do, and I think that's brilliant, to be honest.
Now, one of the battles that I think that we're really up against, you know, there's sort of an age-old standoff between anecdotal evidence and statistical evidence.
Yeah.
And anecdotal evidence, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, is evidence that people assume to be true through observation. It's findings that people gather through what they see and hear around them. Statistical evidence is based on facts that have been measured and checked. Okay. So in modern society, especially in the scientific community, the only evidence that ever matters is statistical evidence. No one gives a fuck about anecdotal evidence. But traditionally, older people especially tend to pay more attention and have more trust in anecdotal evidence. They believe what they hear from their friends. They believe what's been passed down to them from common knowledge. Sayings like, I'll believe it when I see it, or, you know, people of the opinion of, well, I had a mate who smoked till he was 110. That's one person. Smoking kills millions of people every year. You know, it's a big difference. And a lot of the battle is first trying to make people realize that what they see, hear, and think, just because it's true in their small little world, it doesn't mean it's true in the big world. And they could be one of the unlucky ones. Just because no one they know has been yet, or they haven't been yet, it doesn't mean they never will be and couldn't possibly be. And I think one of the battles I've found is with older people, trying to make them realize that what we're selling them, we're backing up with stuff that we know. What they're worried about is based on what they think. And there's a big difference.
I think another bad thing for elderly people is, I don't know, my nana and granddad, they read the newspaper religiously. Every day they'll buy it. And there's never good things. There's always bad things in the newspapers. about this. And same with the news. They only see bad things. They don't really see the good things about this as well, which I think's
there definitely seems to be a leaning in the media for reporting, for being more likely to report on negatives than positives. But again, that is a bit of an assumption on my part. I mean, I haven't looked at every newspaper in every country of the world. You know, I assume from the media that I see that vaping gets mostly reported about in a negative way.
Yeah.
Do we actually know that? You know, have we seen any global opinions?
The only there is good things out there, but I've only ever really seen them on Facebook, to be honest, and that's where another vapor that we know or in a group has been shared.
Yeah, and Facebook is a dangerous place for people looking to get into vaping because there's so many bollocks articles that disguise themselves as news and use statistics that are very cleverly designed to look believable when they're not actually necessarily as relevant, maybe.
Darren's just said in chat, have you guys heard of the hospital in Nottingham that's lifted the ban on vaping?
I have. I'm originally from Nottingham, so.
Yeah, the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham has lifted the ban on vaping.
Is that vaping in the hospital or on the ground?
On the hospital grounds.
Yep.
I think a lot of people are quite lenient when it comes to that anyway. But I think having someone actually having the balls to come forward and say, yeah, look, we are lifting that ban.
It's an interesting one.
Isn't it?
Mayhem Marcus, a problem is shops mis-selling. My father-in-law vapes, has done for about 8 months. The shop sold him a Vive pen with 6 milligram juice.
And
I don't consider that to be too far from correct.
No.
hang on, what's after the ...
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
The limit to how much you can put in one comment. It's just typing the rest, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the rest of that to come through because from what that stands at the moment, he's continued to smoke. He was a 20+ a day Marlboro. The wife and I are looking into getting him a. Oh, there's more.
Stay for next week for the rest of this comment.
No, I think 200 character limit.
I think I can almost read into what he's going to say, and it's more when you smoke a lot. I don't think 6 milligram cuts it for you when your mouth to lung it.
No.
I think maybe he was misinformed in what he was sold. Do you know what I mean? Because realistically, and I've been in TYV, I haven't been in Vape, but I've been at the stand at Expo, and Mark's been there. And generally, one of the first questions I've seen everyone in every shop you ever go in that's decent, one of the first things they ask is, I've heard you do it, Stu, when I've been on video chat with it, and you've got a customer in, you'll say, how many do you normally smoke a day? And they'll say X, and you say, right, I think you should probably try 12 or 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think selling someone 6 when they smoke, 30, 40 fags a day.
I don't smoke at all, and I still use 12 milligram Heisenberg.
Even if a customer came into me and said I smoke 30, 40 a day, I'd start them on 12. I don't like going to 18.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But
if they come back to me and say it's not enough, then I'll give them the 18. I don't want to start them off it because it's.
no, you wouldn't start someone off at 6, would you?
No, I always like to start people off on 12, and then they can work it out. If it's too harsh, they can drop. If it's not enough, they can go up. But I don't want to start them on 18 because not everyone needs that.
That's exactly the same mentality I've got, and I will always say, if I give you a 12, it's not enough. You find yourself itching, come back, I'll swap it for you.
Yeah.
I'd rather go in the middle than go 20, 18 milligram. If they still feel as though they need a cigarette, come back, I'll swap it out for an 18 milligram.
It's like,
What you don't want to do is raise someone's nicotine dependency. You don't want to make them more dependent on nicotine than they were before they started vaping.
I fell in that fucking hole.
But I mean, with something like an ego pen, you kind of pretty much need to be on 18, even if you're only like a 10 or 15 a day smoker, because they're so inefficient at vaporizing. You'll need the 18 regardless. I mean, when I was using ego pens, I was on 36 and 24. I couldn't imagine putting 36 into a modern device.
What about 45?
Yeah, but that's salt based. It has a different feel.
Mark, I bumped into a guy the other day who was sold a noisy cricket and an RDA with a 0.2 build in it. We could do without that shit. I'm guessing it was the original noisy cricket.
Yeah, 1 or a 2. That's very important there, a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
But I think selling a noisy cricket either way is probably quite.
Yeah, either way, it's a bit naughty that.
Well, no, the two's got high amp protection in it and everything.
But what if that person doesn't know how to use it, accidentally switches it onto series?
Yeah, it's
but it's protected, it won't fire.
It's still irresponsible.
It is irresponsible.
Especially if we're talking about beginners. He said it was a bit hot. Surprised.
Well,
3 burns to the lips.
That Nautilus in series was a bit hot.
Yeah, in the shop, I won't sell an RDA or a mech or anything like that to someone who can prove they have the knowledge or the willing to learn. I don't want anyone coming back and a bad thing to have happened, and that'd be on my head. I couldn't.
Yeah, I've refused to sell plenty of times for mech mods for people that I knew weren't ready for them. And when they ask why, you just say, because you're not ready. Just be honest with them. You're not ready. There's too much learning that goes into that before you can use it safely. If you want to learn to use one, I'm happy to teach you everything you need to know. But I'm not selling one to you until I feel comfortable that you're not going to hurt yourself with it.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Anyway,
We digress.
back to old people.
Old people.
How do you suppose it's addressed, James?
Well, like I said, the little campaign thing that Dale's on about starting up, that's a really good way. Because they come in, they don't have to worry about much. They come in, they learn, they get a free device, some free juice, so they can try it. And then it takes out that, I don't know how to say it, that fear, should I say, of change.
I mean, the thing is, when there's no barrier to entry, when there's no upfront investment, people are a lot more willing to just take a punt on it, aren't they? Just
Yeah. I mean, they've got nothing to lose, but they've got a lot to gain.
Definitely. But it is a whole lifestyle change. We all know that. We've all been there. We've all been at that, sat there smoking that less cigarette, thinking, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow I am going to start using my electronic cigarette. Tomorrow is the day. And you know what? If you've been doing that, I've probably been smoking 20 odd years when I quit. Imagine if you'd done it for 50, 60 odd years. That is a massive crutch in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, someone's taking that crutch away and they're going to replace it with someone else. And 9 times out of 10, they've tried everything else. They've tried patches. They've chewed gum. They've tried every prescription going to try and stop. And a lot of people do turn to electronic cigarettes and vaping as a last resort.
But whereas vaping could be advertised as their first resort, and they wouldn't have to.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of people are told that they need to give up smoking for X, Y, and Z reasons. And I think if they were offered that alternative then and there, you need to give up. I think you should try vaping, which I think some health providers are leaning towards doing as well. Just saying, I think, if you've tried gum, you've tried sprays, you've tried patches, you've tried this, maybe you should try vaping. And I know my local doctors have said it before. And I don't know, I think a lot more people would be inclined to try it if that was sort of something that's routinely offered. Do you know what I mean? Rather than something they have to stumble across in a weird shop with loads of young kids in there blowing big clouds. Do you know what I mean?
Well, someone's just said in the chat that his dad's been stopped for a month because his cardiac nurse has recommended it. And he's gone from 48 years smoking to 1 month vaping. That's a massive achievement, that.
But yeah, in the same breath, I've mentioned this in the past, I have heard nurses say to people that electronic cigarettes aren't quitting and they're not safe.
Yeah.
I think that's misinformation as well, because they're not taught that by the NHS, are they? They're taught, you know, whatever they're led to believe by the media. And I've had this conversation. I had a couple of t-shirts made up for Expo that said, ask me about the contents of Pandora's box. And I routinely wear them, even though I'm not actually out advertising. And yeah, a few times I've been in the hospital and nurses have asked me, what's this Pandora's box? And I've explained, you know, e-cigarettes, design RDAs and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, they're dangerous, aren't they? And I said, no. And I've sat there and I've sort of opened up the eyes of nurses to vaping. And I think, I can't imagine after the earache I gave them that they're going to go ahead and then tell people they're dangerous still. I think it's about having such a compelling argument that they're no longer inclined to believe the bullshit the media tells them. Do you know what I mean? And I think if we all equipped ourselves with a routine answer that we could all give to anyone who's gonna question, you know, how safe vaping is or whether it's, you know, X, Y, or Z. I think if we all had, I think we kind of have a duty as people who work in the industry or have something to do with the industry to have that knowledge on hand. So for people like James was saying, he wouldn't sell an RDA to someone who isn't proven to learn what's safe, etc., etc. That's kind of it's the same sort of thing I think Believe of you too, isn't it? You make sure people know what they're on about before they buy certain things in your shop. Marks do.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is as well, it's like an unwritten rule. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think in the same sense, having to have an argument to support your case when it comes to people questioning how safe vaping is, I think having that argument prepared is an unwritten rule as well. I think we all have like, come on guys, give us some of your responses to when people say, oh, that vaping's dangerous, isn't it? What do you say to them?
Well, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is obviously, well, no. And then usually I'll give them an opportunity to start to rifle off whatever bullshit they're going to come at me with. And then my go-to is always, well, the Royal College of Physicians backs it. Public Health England, the independent body who advises the government on health policy, backs it. And Cancer Research UK backs it. So if you're telling me that what you've heard from someone at the pub weighs more than those three bodies, fair enough, let's continue talking. But if we're not, I think you need to accept that vaping is not as dangerous as you believe it to be.
See, I take a very much a different approach, actually. My first port of call when it comes to arguing about it, and it is usually an argument because the sort of people that confront you in the streets or in general about vaping are people that have a strong opinion that they're willing to argue about. I don't think, you know, Joe Bloggs, who doesn't give a shit either way, actually is going to approach you and start saying, oh, that's dangerous. So the first thing I say to people is, well, when the government make billions of pounds a year in revenue based on the predicted sales of cigarettes and tobacco, they buy bonds and shares based on the projected revenue. And when people start vaping, the revenue that actually arrives versus what's projected for the year differentiates. So they buy £1 trillion worth of bonds based on £1 trillion worth of sales of tobacco tax and all that bollocks. And then 2.8 million people give up smoking. That's, you know, on average, I don't know, 10, 15 grand a year per person that they lose. You know, it has a big impact on it. So the government will tell you whatever they need to tell you in order to keep you smoking. Smoking's always been at the forefront with regards to the government. It's always been a priority over public health, because otherwise, instead of offering free NHS treatment to cure the cancer that people are getting from smoking, they just stop people from smoking. But they don't want to do that because they make money at both ends.
Yeah, on that scale as well, I thought it was quite funny how the TPD regulated us to sell 10 ml bottles containing nicotine, so they limited the quantity we can sell, but yet they took away 10 packs of cigarettes, so you can only buy a 20 pack. So you can buy less of this and more cigarettes.
Does that not stop children buying them though?
Yeah, I think
Not necessarily.
their logic with the 20 decks thing was that a 10 deck is a cheaper pack of fags that someone on a lower budget can buy and ration. If the smallest pack of fags you can buy costs nearly a tenner, it prohibits people on lower budgets from accessing them, which overall reduces the number of people that are smoking. Whether or not that logic makes sense compared to what they did with vaping is a lot shadier. But if you take cigarettes on its own and stick it in a glass bottle, it does make sense why they did it.
But then again, there's nothing stopping 2 kids from both putting in a 5 and they've got 10 each.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It swings and roundabouts, isn't it, really?
I think if you want to do something, nothing like that's going to stop you, is it?
No.
No, but what you have to try and dissect is their reasoning in making that decision. And when you look at cigarettes on their own, you can understand some sort of line of reasoning that was followed to get to that decision. It's when you bring vaping into the picture and say, but they forced the smallest, cheapest quantities here, like what were they trying to achieve? You know, it starts to make less sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then I suppose what you could also say is that makes vaping inarguably more accessible.
Yeah, and also it helps us fund the argument of vaping's cheaper than smoking, because for many of us hobbyists it isn't. But at the same time, I think when people aren't able to go and buy, 10 grams of baccy or 10 fags, it does make it a cheaper option.
The thing with anything, if you become a hobbyist in anything, it becomes more expensive. If you'll just you buy a Zelos kit, with an nucleus kit on it, and you stick to your on.
Chris, that RDA is literally the noisiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is it as loud as it sounds?
It sounds like you're trying to inhale all of us in this.
Mark is struggling to talk over that RDA.
I couldn't tell because my little green bar wasn't moving, so I didn't know whether you could hear it or not. But I thought, it must be me because no one said anything. But no, I genuinely think it's loud as fuck.
I can't remember what I was saying now. What was I saying?
Zelos kit.
Yeah, go out, buy yourself a Zelos kit. You could probably get through 10 mils in a week. 10 mils might last you a week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was 5 refills. You'd expect to burn through the tank maybe once a day. So, worst case scenario, a 10 mil should do you for 5 days.
Yeah, and what you can pick up. I know our cheapest 10 mil is $2.99 a bottle.
Yeah, same here.
$2.99 a bottle. So factor out the cost. Your first week is your cost of your cigarettes. That's paid for your hardware.
Easily, yeah.
You're on the save then from now on.
There's one thing that I always say to new customers is people who smoke already budget a certain amount of money a day for cigarettes. So it's not like they're losing that money. So what I always say to them is your juice per month, if you work it out on average, is going to cost you this much. Coils is going to cost you this much. Put all the rest of that money you'd normally save into a pot and just watch it grow. I had a woman come in. She booked a 3-week holiday to Australia with the money she saved. And it didn't even take her that long because it wasn't like she was saving money. She was just not spending the money that she'd spend on cigarettes.
Yeah, it's almost like it does it for you for free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a saving scheme.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to do the same thing as Mark. Like the Zealous kit tends to be the one that I usually push onto quitters. If they don't want to spend 50 quid, then there's things like the Endura T20 and like the Joytech Ego IO.
The starter kit that's banging is the Breeze.
The Aspire one.
Oh mate, they are cracking.
Is the airflow actually good enough for mouth to lung on them?
Yeah, it's really, really good. It shocked me, to be honest. And they are really good.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check them out because a lot of what Aspire are doing at the moment is fucking class. Really, really class.
If you compare it to the eye care, they work pretty much the same, but it's a 2,000 milliamp battery instead of 600.
But this is the thing though. They're like there are so many legitimately decent options for people to quit now, and the money isn't really an issue anymore.
No.
The issue is the commitment, like persuading people to commit. That money that you would have spent on fags this week is what it's going to cost you to start vaping. You're saving from there, but that means you've got no money to buy fags this week, and that's what you've got to try and sell them. Is for this first week, you're in the hands of this vape, and you've got to hope it works. And it's persuading people that actually it's a piece of piss. It's dead easy. It will work.
So we've even had people come into the shop after they've still got, let's say, 7, 8 cigarettes in their deck, and jokingly, we've actually got them to throw them in the bin and give them a bottle of juice to replace them.
Yeah, I got a mate who I work with, and every day he leaves a pack of fags on the side, and sometimes I've bought those little bangers that you stick in the end of them. Sometimes I stick them in, sometimes I lick them, sometimes I cut the ends off and then stick them back in the pack. So when he pulls one, it looks the same size. When he pulls one out, it's just the butt. And I think he started vaping just to stop me doing that. But he started smoking again, unfortunately. But it was fun while it lasted.
We're still proud of you.
I was going to say, can we have a brief chat about the Churchill? I know we're going to get, we want to get Alex back on, but I do want to have my week 1 feedback, if I may.
Well, you and I wanted to boner it, didn't we? So, should we start chatting about the Churchill?
Wait. Give me 2 seconds. Let me message Alex the link and ask him to come on and watch whilst we.
That's probably a good idea. That's probably a good idea. He's bound to be about, isn't he?
Okay, let's finish James's topic.
I'm pretty finished. So.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So by Churchill, I think, when did I message you, Stu? Was it Monday morning? Tuesday?
Something like that.
Topic.
I'm pretty finished.
So. Mine turned up. I didn't get to put a build in it until the end of the day. Normally I'm like excited when I get something new in. And
I thought you were giving me a minute to message him.
we are. I'm just setting the scene.
Let's talk about hip hop.
Let's all sit here and wait for Chris, shall we?
Just talk about something else for a minute.
No. Everybody sit in silence and wait for Chris.
Nice weather we're having for this time of year.
Actually, not bad. I'm quite surprised.
Silence, actually, Mark.
This what?
Silence, please.
Oh, sorry.
We're waiting for Chris.
It doesn't have to be silence, does it?
Can I interrupt the silence, Stu?
Yes, of course you can. Please do.
Started a new job role.
Roll.
Yeah, I will no longer be working in the Yorkshire Vaper shop.
Yeah, I heard you're going to be like traveling.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing field sales. So that will be a good thing to do. Going out to visit people in shops. Dale's actually got us like a mobile tester bar to take to shops for me. So that'll be really good when it all kicks off.
Not bad. Start talking about it. I'm going to ring Alex.
Hold on a minute. Let me just do something.
All right, there's dead air and there's dead air. I'm not.
I knew you'd give up first. I knew you'd give up.
Sit and leave everyone looking
To be fair, everyone that we've abandoned so far on an audition, that's definitely that's the best way that we've been that anyone's got around it so far.
I know what I want to talk about. I've just spotted Chandler in the chat.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that briefly while we wait for Alex.
Very briefly. So last week we obviously had Chandler on from the vaguely related podcast, and unfortunately I hadn't had a chance to sit down and listen to one of his podcasts. So was it yesterday? Today? Yesterday? One day this week. I thought, oh no, I'll queue it up and listen to it on the way home. Put it on in the car. and comes on. You've got that at the beginning. It's like really cool, bobbing my head. Yeah. Anyway, and the vocals start. So Chandler starts talking, and it's very, very quiet.
JB posting the link in the wrong chat.
I did think that.
No, that's the link to Nas's Illmatic album. I just thought I'd chuck that in there.
Oh, okay. So driving down the road, and obviously with the road noise and everything else, turns the volume up. Still can't quite hear him. Turns it up again. Little bit more, little bit more, little bit more. Brilliant. I can hear him. And then bang with that bastard dubstep.
That's exactly what I fucking warned you about, and no one listens today.
I fucking shat myself. Actually shat myself. Oh my word.
When me and Risa listened to it, we had it on a loudspeaker. And I had it on one of these little boys.
Yeah.
And you don't think these things are that loud, but you know when you put them on like a hollow surface, like a desk, for example, they fucking kick.
I got it on about 3/4 volume in the car.
Yeah,
That's madness.
Yeah, I did warn you it was going to be fucking bad.
But either way, you know, I think it's a really good, really, really, really good idea. You know what? I usually listen to shit on the radio, and I actually enjoyed sitting and listening to the podcast.
Mate, I love a podcast. I listen to one every night when I'm in bed.
I think we're missing a treat, boys.
What, you reckon we should podcast as well? Add to the amount of content that we're struggling to stitch together as it is.
Exactly, you get it.
Talking of content, Alex is here.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, he's here.
Are we having him in, or are we having him?
No, he's driving at the minute, but he's broke the law. Well, I don't know if it's the law in Canada, but he's clicked the link whilst driving just to tune in for this part.
Oh, so he's watching the YouTube video.
Yeah.
So we can talk then.
We can talk about Churchill now.
Talk about the Churchill.
So my Churchill arrived early this week. Sat down. Waited.
Do you even Churchill, bro?
Hey, James, do you even Churchill, bro?
I don't have a Churchill.
Carry on, Mark.
I'm just Churchilling, bro.
Oh, sorry, I was Churchilling too, bro.
Yeah, me too.
So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to whack a low build in here just to see, because I'm all for destruction. I like things to, I don't like things to fail, but I like to be the person to make them fail. So whacked in a 0.09 fuse Clapton. Now I'd heard a few people saying that they'd struggled with wicking, so I kept my wick short, built it up, filled her up, and vaped it. Expecting to get wet, didn't get wet. Expected a dry hit, didn't get a dry hit. Bearing in mind, I was running it at, I'm currently running it at 95 watts. Now, one of my issues with a lot of RTAs is sufficient.
Alex says be gentle.
I'm being gentle, I'm being honest. And one of my issues is with wicking. Now I'm running this at 95 watts. Running at, it's sat at 0.1 at the moment, right? And I'm just going to try and do this, see if we can catch this on camera. So I'm just going to couple of biggish hits. By the time I got that to the camera, that air bubble had gone. It had wicked so incredibly fast.
I don't know what I'm trying to capture that air bubble.
Honest to God, I have never known. Okay, there's the Sherman, and I love the Sherman tank. The Sherman tank is incredible. Again, I had a few issues with it, either dry hits or a little bit of leaking. Honestly, I've been blown away.
What size is it?
24.
Oh.
See, I don't use tanks. I've never really found a tank that I like.
I don't. Genuinely, I tend not.
But watching you then makes me want to get one.
honestly, I am so incredibly impressed. Someone just mentioned, where do you place your coils? My coils, I bend in slightly, so they're not actually touching, but practically touching in the middle.
Yeah, mine were. They were about 0.5 millimeter apart.
I've got mine built with a single coil. In fact, I will take the lid off and show you. Although my cotton might not
What's
be.
the deck on it?
I'll show you now. Because it's one of them really nice tanks that you can quite happily take it apart while it's built without upsetting it.
Although I didn't realise that the chimney section's reverse threaded.
Yeah, reverse threaded.
Don't turn it too much, otherwise the chimney will come out and then it will leak on you. That happened to me. I called Alex and I said, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit annoyed with it to start with, but I've actually...
mine's really juicy at the minute, so give me a second just to dry it up so that I can actually take it apart, because it's making me unslip.
But it's fucking... And do you know what? This is something I was fucking about with earlier. If you turn it upside down so there's no juice actually over the wicks, you can take about 6 to 8 hits before it goes dry.
What's the capacity on it?
Hi.
I've got no idea. Probably about 5 mil, I'd say.
It's 3.5, isn't it?
I
I thought it was somewhere between 4 and 5. Alex is... I've got him on chat messaging me. So, Alex, if you could clarify, how big is your... how deep's your hole?
I think it's 4 mil.
Oh my god, I've just ruined my entire life here. Like
4.5. 4.5, I was close. 5 mil, I thought it was.
Right,
biggest mistake of my life agreeing to undo this like on camera.
I'm going to give my criticism. My only criticism.
You don't like Alton, do you?
No, that drip tip not sat in properly.
Yeah,
It's not that. It's not that. It's the fact I have lost both drip tips.
How?
They just fall out.
Mine doesn't. Oh, wait, did they?
Nah.
Maybe.
I've lost both of mine in less than a
Let me
week.
dry it up. I reckon this drip tip will support the weight of the mod. Let me dry it. Dry me drip tip.
Dry inside of the
yeah,
tank.
to be fair, the stock drip tips do actually come out quite easy. I noticed that as well.
They're not that bad. I mean,
They're bad enough for me to lose 2 in less than a week. Minor criticism because I've literally, I think I grabbed one off, what's that, Pandora, or I
that's
grabbed
the Pandora one, I think, yeah.
just before I sat down tonight for the show.
Let me try my
Okay.
too big.
I can steal the one off the top of the mesh.
Alex says there's a spare replacement O-ring included with it to sort that out.
Okay.
You've just set it.
Did you look underneath your box?
I did, yeah.
I don't know where my box is.
My box is on my desk at work.
It's fine.
Yeah, no, there's a good set of spares. I'll give you that as a good set of spares.
Yeah, I think in that set of spares is a thingamajiggy. One of them.
In all seriousness, bar from the drip tip thing, I fucking love it. I've got to say, it is, of all time, bar the Nautilus 2, probably my favourite tank.
I found a solution to that drip tip problem. Just use
You know what, Mark? I'm going to agree with you on that.
I was a little, because I had a chat with Alex beforehand, and there we go.
He's just sent me a video of him driving down the road,
Hang on.
recording a video, and watching YouTube, holding it by the drip tip. So
That's how I built mine for single coil. So those wicks just press up against the insides of the hole, nothing poking out of the holes whatsoever. So when the collar goes on, as you can see, those wicks just press up to it.
Yeah. No, it is, genuinely, it is a minor criticism for how it behaves. But the only thing that I found an annoyance with is a drip tip. I think that's minute, literally minute.
see, he sent out spare drip tips because I know Ultim has a tendency to shrink once it's cooled down. I think they obviously fit perfectly when they were made, and then once they you know, shrunk down a bit. I think they must have not been as tight as they were, but with a spare O-ring to solve that issue and 2 drip tips included, I don't know how we'd ever lose one, but someone has.
Yep, I have. No, apart from that, no, I was really, like I said, I was really apprehensive. Really apprehensive.
Kev has said in the UK at any point.
Say again?
Big Kev has said in chat in the UK at any point.
I know that Alex was talking about potentially manufacturing a TPD compliant one. However, I don't know where he's got with that or if in fact it's going to happen. I'm sure, I know Alex is watching live, so I'm sure he could feedback to Chris on that.
Yeah, I also heard the same thing, that Alex wanted to look at doing a TPD compliant version, but hasn't started that process yet, as far as I'm aware.
No. But I really hope that it is released to the UK market.
I've taken some really long hits off this, trying to make it go dry, and it's not doing it.
Oh, it's really hard to get a dry hit off it.
I'm getting Nick Rush doing it, and I'm only using 2 milligram.
I mean, I'm actually similar to Mark in the sense of, and I think you as well, Chris, I don't like tanks. And there's been one tank that I've liked previously, but I would only say I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it. And that was the Churchill RTA from Dotmod. I liked that a lot. Thought it was very good. And then this is, though, genuinely the only tank I have ever absolutely fallen in love with. Like, could not ever see myself being without this in my lineup now.
He said that the very first batch, yeah, the drip tips are fair point, but that has been fixed for the new batch.
Sweet.
And yeah, I mean, with a spare O-ring, we can solve that issue.
I heard that they were moving way faster than he anticipated them moving as well.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, if I'm honest. To be honest, as I said, when I first got it, I was really fucking annoyed with it, but because I've been using the billet box for the best part of a year now, not non-stop, day in, day out, with 45 milligram Nick salts, I never really thought that I'd ever go back to enjoying a tank at all. And I wasn't really a massive fan of tanks to start with. So to have to put the effort into even build it was a bit of a pain in the ass. And then, you know, I think I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to enjoy it, and it took away from the actual experience of vaping it. And now that I have, I mean, as I said, this is the same build, same wicks that I had in last week. And I mean, it's quite a testament to 830 at home though, because it's not fucking gone black, but it's still vaping as good as it was when I first built it over a week ago.
You want to try 6 a.m.? 6 a.m. is it's a lot harder on the cotton. Hell of a lot harder on the cotton.
I'm going to say I've been on toasted all week and I've rewicked once.
Yeah, I've not had to rewick it. I mean, now I've got a headache from that. So I think no more Churchill for me tonight. But yeah, I'm really impressed with it.
An absolute killer. Absolute killer.
James.
Hello?
You need to get one.
How do I go about getting one, though?
If you get yourself onto, is there a Facebook group called?
I can't remember.
The Apothecary.
Yeah, I think they're available at carrickvape.com.
Oh no, it's not Carrick, is it?
Is it not?
If there's a group called Churchill by E Apothecary,
Right.
if you get yourself in there, I will pop the link in the chat. There we go.
Yeah, they are on Carrick Vape.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and they deliver to the UK as well.
There you go.
I'll put a link in the chat. They're in Canada as well, so
Very good exchange rate.
don't be put off by the price, because it's actually
What is the price on them?
Oh wait, here we go.
85 Canadian dollars, I believe it is.
No, 110. 85 was a secret price that we got them for. Twat.
No, I'm sure I saw one listed the other day at 85 US dollars. It might have been.
Yeah, 85 US dollars, 110 Canadian dollars.
That's it.
It's about 70 quid plus your
It goes about 70. That's not bad. It's not.
So yeah, it's available on these two places. Subtanksupply.com. What? Yeah. Wicksandwires.com.
To be completely honest, it's more money than a lot of people will be used to paying for an RTA. It's also a lot more RTA than people will be used to getting for their money. If you're someone who thinks that like the Kylin or the Amit are good tanks, you don't even understand what good tanks are compared to this.
No, don't get me wrong. The Kylin is good once you get the wicking right. I love the Kylin.
What the fuck was that noise?
A sale coming through. Nothing's muted. Bear with me.
So I'm not saying that in any way to be insulting. What I'm saying is that if you're currently at that level of understanding of products and exposure to products where you think things like the Kylin and the Amit are shit hot, you haven't yet experienced that next level. And this is like 2 levels above that. Like, it's RDA good in terms of flavor. It stays saturated. It's really hard to make it dry hit. It'll only take you a couple of goes to get used to wicking it, maybe 1 or 2. I mean, like, I got it right the first time, then chose to re-wick it, which I wish I hadn't have done because I fucked it up the second time, and then had to adjust it and got it right again on the 3rd time. So
I really want to rebuild it now.
It'll take you a day or 2 to figure out wicking, maybe, but you're going to get way more tank than you're used to getting for like 35 quid.
Yeah,
I'm just the tank I've ever had is the Griffin 25.
I'm just going to do this again. Just watch this juice hole.
Mark's hole.
Yeah, as you can see it straight instantly. That is.
Yeah.
Right away.
What you got that on?
95 watts, 0.1.
That's not bad in a tank, that.
See, mine's at 75 watts at 0.28.
Yep, 71.5 at 0.27 is how I vape mine.
And you saw my airflow.
Yeah, quite closed. I'm on about 2/3 airflow.
I'm on about just over half, just under half, but I'm going to shut it down a little bit.
No, I know.
The flavour if you've got it fully open, then does it make a difference?
That's one of my gripes about it. Between halfway and fully open, I don't feel that the airflow changes enough for it to matter. Because of the air intake on the deck is limited to that amount of air. So it does change the sound it makes, but I don't think it improves it in any way, having it fully open. So
515 is completely hybrid safe. If you can see that.
But,
yeah, it is hybrid safe.
But yeah, what I like about it is though he's making it modular, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's working on upgrades for it, mouth to lung kit, etc., etc.
It already comes with another ring on the airflow as well, so you've got like dot style airflow, so you can restrict it off more.
Yeah, I've seen a sneak peek of the next lot of airflow, and it's like loads of little dots. It's very cool.
I'm going to say, obviously, Alex is a friend of the show. Alex has been on the show. We all paid for these. None of them were freebies, and you know.
Even I paid for it, and I'm a skank.
Exactly.
True. JB doesn't pay for anything.
I don't, in general.
But no, my opinions are genuine, not because I love Alex to bits, but they are because I genuinely.
I think it helps that we like Alex though, because it kind of. I'm glad to be able to give him positive feedback.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like a cunt if I had to come on here and say. To be honest, I think we would have skirted around the subject if it was shit, wouldn't we? And I would have tried to avoid.
I would have
publicly.
No, I think I'd have said I'm not impressed and it's not for me, and I'd have given reasons why.
Yeah, same here.
But I think it's different for me. I think because of how well I know Alex.
Yeah, you're a lot closer to him than us.
I would have fed back to him in private and told him that Alex, this is shit, mate. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have publicly come on here and said, yeah, this fucking tank's wank. like I would do if it was someone I didn't know or care about. Do you know what I mean?
They were offered to us in public. We took them in public. Our feedback comes in public. That's exactly how I am, anyway.
Yeah, for me, I agree. And do you know what? It was a bit of a bittersweet thing because I've been thinking recently about like I'd like to do an RTA and what would I like to do and how would I like to do it. And when I vaped this, I was just like, fuck, I will never make anything that good. There's no idea I can come up with that will lead to an RDA that good. Sorry, an RTA that good. And I just thought to myself, but do you know what? Fucking fair play, actually, because it is just better than everything else on the market for me.
Totally.
I mean, I really like the Sherman, and I think that's why I never bothered making an RTA after the Sherman. I think it's hard to compete when it gets to a certain level. Do you know what I mean? And this is why.
And the Sherman is very, very good.
Yeah, but I think they're two different ballparks as well.
Completely.
Because you're not going to want a fucking 28mm tank on a 24mm mod. You know what I mean?
Sherman, I love the Sherman with a nice 4 or 5mm build in it, running on a series box.
See, that's what's always put me off the Sherman. I've used one, don't get me wrong, Nat's got one. I like it when I use it, but I don't like series. So it's always put me off because everyone I've seen use it, they've got massive coils on a series box, and that's not my style.
I know Churchill was our first audition. I know that's pretty much all he uses. Exclusively, he uses the Sherman on a series plastic box.
Yeah.
Alec,
For me, with the Sherman, personally, I just didn't think the flavour was quite as good as people were saying it was. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was like RDA levels of good. Whereas with the Churchill, I think I get just as good a flavour as I'd get off a decent RDA.
I said earlier that the Churchill is pulling out flavours in toasted that I've never tasted before, and that's a positive thing, not nasty flavours. It's bringing out amazing flavours.
The first juice I put on mine was Hakacho. Now, if there's one juice on this planet that I know exactly how it's supposed to taste, it's going to be the custard that I had built to be my dream custard, right? If there was ever one juice of any juice that I should know exactly what it needs to taste like, it would be that juice. And it tasted better than I've ever tasted it before. Like, it tasted completely different to what I'm used to it being.
Yeah. In a positive way, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it really, the Churchill has a way of bringing out like bakeries, and it's good at like bringing up bass notes.
Yeah. Definitely.
it's very nice.
Fucking dope tank, all right? It's just a really fucking dope tank.
Do you even tank, bro? Yeah, Alex, someone asked in the chat on YouTube whether there was any chance of a clear one because I don't like yellow. Just if you get a chance to answer that, do it. I know there's a black one. I think it's electroplated, a black electroplate version of it.
He told me that was a secret, Chris, and he didn't want anyone to see it yet.
No, the black I'm allowed to talk about, I think.
Can we move on over to our boner board then?
Yeah.
Can we say thank you to Alex for the product?
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
I was hoping he'd be able to join us, but it doesn't look as though he's going to make it back.
He's still driving, but in the future, next couple of weeks, maybe we'll get him in. We can attempt to speak English for an hour and a half, and then hey. Bloody Canadians.
Right, shall I start sharing the boner board then? Because the first thing we've got to do is decide where the Churchill's going. Because we've currently got it sat just here in freaking awesome. I feel like we're now ready for it to be fully charged or absolutely fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think it definitely deserves an upgrade.
Definitely, no doubt.
It's at least fully charged, right? But is it billet box good?
I think we need to give it. We've only had it a week. I think it needs at least another week before we decide whether it's billet box good. It's definitely fully charged.
Okay, so it's going straight into fully charged with a view to, if we still love it this much in a couple of weeks' time, it could well hit the top of the board.
Absolutely.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I like that idea. So who's got bonus?
I've got a little quick one. Just a little quick boner, if you fancy it.
Go on.
Sorry, just quickly, James, can you send me your bonus, please?
I sent you a picture of it already.
Okay, got it.
All right, just send you a little. I'll just show you a little quickie, a swifty one. It's a product that we've all used. We're all very familiar with, and we've never actually discussed it. These little cunts. These little fucking wankers.
What about them?
Talk to me, boys. Talk to me, boys. Where do you stand on the standard build kit ceramic tweezer?
I think they're pretty good. I've got some here.
Joe, the only thing I use ceramic tweezers for?
Pull out ingrown hairs in your ball bag.
And that.
Yeah, that's really good for unscrewing the top of a billet box.
That is really fucking good. Well, see, I've got a nollie tip, which has like little grooves so you can unscrew it itself. But it's handy for like DNA 75s with these thingies on them. Handy as fuck. And then also, I think these are standard for anything that has like the 2 holes like that.
Yeah.
I think, I can't remember what it was. I had some, the fucking Rogue. When I first got it, I used it to unscrew my Rogue thing. And then I scratched the button. So I was a bit sad about that.
Mine is battered to fuck.
Is it
Plus, you can get the ceramics with the grip on the end of it. For taking off tanks that are stuck on mods and stuff.
Yeah, the Coil Master ones. Yeah, they've got the little jam jar openers on them.
Yeah.
Right. I am fucking sick of breaking these things. I'm absolutely sick to my teeth of the fucking tip snapping on them, the whole fucking end coming off of them.
I've never had a whole end come off. I have the tip break, and then what I do is I get some snips and then just snip the other one so it's level and then start again.
Here's a question that I need to pose, right? First of all, why can't the prongs be made of something like carbon fiber with just a ceramic inset?
Cost.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that expensive and people would pay for it for the sake of not breaking them.
I mean, they could carry on this stainless all the way up and just layer the inside with it and it'd have some support for the back of it.
Exactly. Like, why can't we do better than these fucking pieces of shit that you go through? You go through, like, this is the tool that I replace most often in my kit.
I mean, I should pay for them like $2.99 or whatever. Fuck me, it's not the.
Yeah, but I'd rather pay $6.99, $8.99, $9.99 and have one that's going to last me like a year. You know, I'm going through probably 4 sets of these a year at the moment.
Yeah, but see, I've always got about 4 to 6 sets knocking about the house. So,
like,
that's because you're a free shit man.
Yeah.
If anyone's got ceramic tweezers they want to send me for free.
Do you know what I mean? Like, snips I maybe go through 1 set a year at the most, and that's just because they blunt up and I can't be fucked to sharpen them. Pliers last forever. Fuck it, like.
The biggest issue I had with snips is when the blades sort of flapped over slightly.
Or if you use a lot of 20 gauge and bigger wires, they get a little gap in them so they don't quite meet.
Oh yeah, I've actually fully snapped off an arm off about 5 pairs of these using 20 gauge back in the day.
But I'm just a bit fed up of this being the main option on the market. I mean, even the UD ones have got the same problem. Like, they're still easy to break the ends off them.
They're better than the little fat ones, though. You know what? You know the ones you get that have the round bit that you can unscrew your RDA with.
I'll tell you, the ones with the rounded prongs are the worst fucking thing in the world.
Worst fucking thing.
They are completely useless. But these little dickheads, they're very useful, which is what hurts my feelings so much when they constantly break on me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think their benefits outweigh their.
Oh, they might well, but I just feel like we deserve something better.
Why don't you design something better?
Let's fucking do it.
We can do it.
You and me, baby. Let's do this.
Well, I don't see it being a massive issue. I mean, it kind of falls under that whole if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I suppose if you're breaking that fucking many, it's all coming out now, Stu.
So Stu's message, is this boner prompted by the fact I snapped your new pair today?
It's all gone quiet over there.
I've just typed back in the chat.
Basically, you owe him $2.99.
Is she there with you now, or?
Yeah, she's in the room, yeah.
Okay.
This is how they communicate, these millennials.
Millennials? I was born in 1985.
Yeah, you act like one.
Right, what are we going for on that then, Stu? Where would you like that to sit?
I feel distinctly meh about the standard ceramic tweezer. I feel like they're good, but we deserve something better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But where would you be without them, Stu?
Where would I be without them?
Yeah.
Well, I am without them half the time. They fucking break on me all the time.
What we could get, right, is ones that are like tungsten coated just on the tips, because then the ceramic in between them, in between the tungsten on the end and this stainless steel handles, the tungsten, the ceramic in between would prevent it from conducting electricity. Could work.
I'm gonna design something better, and you're gonna help me, Chris. We're gonna change the world, man. We're gonna show people just how good a pair of tweezers can be.
Vape Talk UK ceramic tweezers.
Mm.
Yeah. Coming soon to a vape shop near
Look,
you.
the chat are disagreeing with me. Higher than meh, way higher than meh.
I think higher than that, to be honest.
That's why I questioned it, to be fair.
I think at least
State
pretty
your
good,
fucking case then. State why they're worth more than meh.
because their benefits outweigh the fact that you're whinging about having to pay $2.99 because Risa snapped your new ones today.
But you agree that we can do better.
Look, Stu, another use. Scratch your inner ear.
All right.
But you can actually pull your ear hairs out from really down deep as well.
Would you like? We didn't settle for IGO Ws. We looked at RDAs and we said these are great. The benefits outweigh the bad, but we can do better. Where would you put an IGO W on the boner board today?
Yeah, but the IGO W is redundant. These aren't. These have still got load of.
But they'll be redundant if we make something better.
Stu, does this make you sad?
No, not really. You're just in the same boat as me now. You can't.
Because what you do is you just snap the other side, and now they're back to level again.
Yeah, I know. I know how tweezers work. This is fucking Tweezer Talk UK.
It might as well be the way you're fucking going on about them.
Yeah. Chris, listen. There you go. That was the sound of my tweezers being snap level.
But they're the issue sorted, so they can be freaking awesome.
You could buy a bench grinder and sharpen them up again.
We'll fucking sharpen you up in a minute.
Fix up, look sharp.
Are we saying that they're? Are we saying below freaking awesome?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I agree with Lucky Vapes in the chat. You pay your $2.99.
It's not about the price. I'm saying I'd pay more for something better.
All right, I've got these ones, and they come with 2 magic beans. 25 quid.
I've just spotted what we've called the Kylin.
I
The Kylin Minogue.
did that about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, the Kylan Minogue. I call it that in the shop a lot.
Oh dear.
I'm really annoyed that I've snapped the end of my tweezers now.
Don't you wish there was something better out there, Chris?
It wasn't a clean break. Now it's annoying me. It's like a broken tooth. I'm going to mute myself because I'm about to turn the grinder on.
I'm going to go pretty good.
Pretty good.
Fine. Pretty good, whatever. They're not, but you can have it. They're so fucking average, man.
They're above average.
They're all we've got. Yeah, they only get meh because I think they can be done better. Nah, you see, this is the point, Dale. Like, people just accept a standard and they don't even think about it. Most people probably aren't even bothered. But if they had something better, if there was something better, everyone would suddenly look at them and go, well, they're a pile of shit, aren't they? These ones are way better. It's only because no one's made anything better. Anyway, somebody else put up a boner.
All right, I'm going to put James's up. James, I'm going to go with your first one. Oh,
Yeah.
lost it. Let's drop it in John O'Brow for now. So I'll leave James. I'll leave James to introduce this one. This one's for gamers.
Here we go.
Cigarette ring holder.
What? I've seen these before for like weed smokers for holding joints.
But it's like they're trying to add. It's back to the argument we had before. It's advertising smoking again. But a lot of people game. I do, and when I smoked, you used to have to go outside. You stop your game. They're making it more. They're making it easier for people to smoke again.
Sorry, I'm going to add my bit to this. It's got a cigarette in it, proper cunty.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, if you already smoke in your house, I don't think it fucking matters whether it's on the ring or not.
No, but that's not the point. They're making it easier for people to smoke.
I think the government's been doing that for about 100 years. I think it's proper cunty, and I agree with you. It's like a fidget spinner on your vape. It's completely fucking redundant.
I'd put it in proper country.
I think it needs to go in Zobo Laser 255 GT.
Is it that bad? Is it actually genuinely that bad?
I'm not sure it's that bad. Is it really that bad?
Fuck me. Is it seriously Zomo Laser 255 GT?
No, no.
Fuck me. Seriously, Chris, that's pretty serious condemnation of a product to call it that bad.
I mean, to be honest, it looks like it's got other uses, like someone with a really small cock and a tiny cock could have a joint cock ring.
You could stick an ego in there, maybe.
Yeah, on the finger side. Where the fuck are you going to clip the other end?
Oh yeah, I've not thought of that. Maybe we could modify it for the breeze. So when you suck.
Well, the K1 might fit in it.
I definitely hate it. I think it's proper cunty.
I can't stand the idea of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's proper cunty.
Get it in proper cunty.
Put it in your tunnels in your ears. Saves time.
Right. So our second from James this evening. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, but again, I'm going to drop it in John O'Brow.
The standard middle of the road. Right in the middle. I owe John an apology.
No, you don't.
I don't really. I made a joke at his expense the other day, and I think he thought I hated him. Poor bastard.
You do hate him. You're literally always telling us that you hate him.
Wow, I do that.
What's going on? Oh, there it is. It's up.
Oh, this. Can I just say before we even decide about how we feel about this, there are people alive in 2017 that thought this was real when they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people have kind of. It's like, you know that. Oh, I vape. And it's like
hold everyone's thoughts.
Come on. Have you ordered?
Dale has just said in chat, the Zomo laser has grown on me.
Yeah, we've got them in the shop.
Fuck's sake. Dale.
Oh, dear.
I really like you, Dale, but that's...
Nah.
We have a minute of silence for just how bad that is.
No, it's dead air. We can't do that, can we? It's dead air.
Can't upset Chandler.
Yeah.
Right, James, go with this. Run.
It's another one of them things bringing vapors in a bad light. I saw this everywhere. This is one of them things that should not have got shared. Again, it's like it's so bad. Getting kids to vaping, you know what I mean? It's something that we all try. Well, I don't say try, but we don't do.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of became the new, oh, I vape, and it's like two blokes kissing.
Yeah.
I
The
would
biggest
take
shock
it.
for me was that people actually thought it was real. Like,
That's the
people
whole
were
point.
sharing it around. People were sharing it around and saying, surely this isn't true. Well, of course it's not fucking true. On what planet is that ever possibly true?
It's almost, it is laughable, isn't it? It's not.
But it shouldn't be, though. This should never have been a thing.
It's
We
just
get enough hate,
made by some random
yeah, as it is, without this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard to be that annoyed by something so ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? It's like being hit in the nuts by a stray football and going through a field and then beating the kid up because he kicked it. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit. It's redundant. It was a redundant thing to be made. It was a funny meme. I don't know. It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? It's proper cunty, but at the same time, I think you have to be a moron to believe it's a real thing. I'd love to see the day where if anyone out there has ever met anyone who works or owns a vape shop and someone's come in asking for one, I'd love to know. Hi there, I've got a baby in a headlock. I want to get my son a vape. God.
Like Mayhem Marcus has just said, and the arguments that ensued was on Facebook groups was stupid. It really did cause a lot of kickoffs in group. I used to be a teacher, and I actually had ex-colleagues screenshot that and send it to me in PM and said, well, what do you think about that then? It was like, really? You're educated people.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to warrant a response.
Yeah, I got tagged in it by like local people that I knew that know that I vape, but they don't. I don't think any of them thought it was real.
It's just another thing that brings us into a bad light for no reason. It is.
Which is what it was designed for. It was designed to
have a laugh at the expense of people who vape.
Yeah. As are all of these kind of things. But I think this one potentially bit a bit more seriously than previous ones, purely because, like, normally it is just straight making fun of vapors. This doesn't just make fun of vapors. It also sheds disrepute on the industry.
So they even went to the effort to put a bottle of juice on it that's blatantly cherry flavored as well. I was like, there's no need for that.
trolls at their best. So we agreed, proper cunty, yeah?
Proper cunty.
Proper country.
Almost Zoma GT255 laser.
But not quite.
Not quite.
Almost though. It's like if we could have half categories, it'd be there.
I think that's where I was on that electronic cigarette ring thing.
Yeah, it's sort of there, isn't it? It sort of sits around there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Chris, have you got anything this week, mate?
Yeah, of course I have. I'm the only one that's always got bonus. Has everyone been? Everyone been?
No, I'm last. I'm holding up.
Oh, I've got one that I wanted to put last.
All right.
John O'Brow. This one. When it loads. Where the fuck is it? Still loading. Let me refresh it.
Don't you hate it when you're sat here with no underwear on and you're dying for a pee on live?
You've got underwear on. You've got no trousers on.
Oh, I did have underwear on. I just put it a while back.
Why the fuck is my... It's freezing.
It's slow. It's slow. Give it a chance. It'll come.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
That's what she said.
Keep stroking it.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen I Love You, Philip Morris?
No, what's that?
It's a film.
You don't want to know.
Well, to quote such an amazing film, I'm going to come.
Oh, shake and vape.
Now, this used to be the bollocks. The only fucking cotton I ever used. And I stopped using it when I started using fuzz and everything else. I found a bag of it in a bag somewhere, and I thought, do you know what? I'll crack this out. I remember it being fucking amazing. God, it's fucking shit. You know
so much waste.
I'm throwing away. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm throwing away fucking 15 RDAs worth of cotton because they come off in big clumps, and then you pull it and it's slightly too small, and then it looks enough, but it's not. And
What gets me about shake and vape? It fucking squeaks. It's like dragging your nails down a chalkboard. It's fucking horrible.
Dale is seriously defending the Zomo GT255 laser in the chat.
I think we should put Dale's opinion of the Zomo 255 laser on par with the Zomo 255 laser.
Dale, can you send us a photograph of you vaping it so that we can do that?
I mean, I love Dale to bits, don't get me wrong, and it's not very often I say that he makes bad decisions, but this is a fucking bad decision, loving that thing.
What are you on about, Chris? Do you even Zomo 255 laser GT, bro?
No, unfortunately I don't.
Just to clarify, the laser pen doesn't come on when you're vaping. It's a separate setting.
It is a separate setting.
Hang on, you were criticising the fuck out of this last week.
Yeah, James, you even posted a picture of it. Now Dale said he likes it, and all of a sudden...
Oh, look at Captain fucking Flip-Flop.
Terrifying.
Yeah, so Shake and Vape, I used to love it. I can't for the life of me now, looking back at it, work out why I even liked it.
Because it was the best thing around at that time.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's why.
The thing is, one thing, do you remember Cellular Cotton? That's squeaky, horrible. Oh, it reminds me of that now.
One of the best cottons I ever used was that Celtic cotton pads, but they were a pain in the ass just because they were fucking pads. But yeah, Shake and Vape makes me sad now. I used to love it.
Times change, man. It's not your fault that Fuzz came out. It's not Shake and Vape's fault that Fuzz came out. But
Like
Fuzz came out.
It is partly my fault that Fuzz came out. But we won't go into that.
It's probably mostly Dale's fault that Fuzz
Oh,
came
it's definitely mostly Dale's fault.
Running empty.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I really wanted to love it still, but I just don't.
Just scroll across a little bit.
Oh, God.
Dale's just said he'll get you a picture tomorrow.
Cool. We've got an interim picture.
Can you just scroll left?
I'm not being funny. If you go through all of Dale's profile pictures, though, you could have found a lot better of a picture than that.
That's his cool looking picture.
He's got some right cracking photos, Dale has.
I've got a few cracking photos to be fair.
Actually, I've got a really good one of him. It might be on this Mac, actually. Give me a second. Let's have a look.
Chris does KFC, bro. That is true.
I do KFC, bro. I do like KFC.
Stands for Keep Feeding Chris.
Where's your nearest KFC, Chris?
Kitchen.
40 miles away. It's not close. Oh, I don't know where the picture of Dale is. Ah, wait, if I go to all my files.
Can't you just post it to the group, Chris, rather than keeping us on?
Yeah, no, carry on going.
Okay.
Right. Any more bonus?
Have you got any more, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I've got one, but I wanted to save it till last, if I can.
Okay. Let me do my two then. Very quickly, very quickly, and this is after a conversation I had with James last week. I'm going to drop it in John O'Brow and wait for Christmas to come for it to upload. James and I had a conversation about this last week. We were both sat on Fast Tech. Come on. Is it because we've dropped it in John O'Brow that it's really slow?
Jono. Oh, these things, they're badass, bro.
They are really good.
Here we go. Coil
I
brushes.
fucking love them.
Coil brushes.
It's not used one.
Oh, Chris, you need to get one, mate. Honestly.
I use the I just take screen share off a second when I find it. It's in my toolkit somewhere. My toolkit's a fucking mess though. I use this one. Stop screen share. Stop screen share. I use this one that's got the little stepped building tool on the end of it as well. Yeah. And then you unscrew this, and there's your fucking coil cleaning brush in there. Yeah.
Where's that from?
That's Coil Master, that is, I believe, or UD, one or the other.
Can you send me one?
Honestly, Chris, get one. I was going to get them for time, and my better half told me not to. Said they look shit. We got one in. They're fucking awesome.
Can someone send me one for free, bro?
As it stands at the moment, they are probably my favourite vaping accessory to come out in the last sort of year or so.
Chris, you're up here soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm coming up.
I'll give you one.
And the coil brush.
Team Free Shit continues.
They are really good, and from what they are, it doesn't look like it's going to work or do anything, but it really does.
See, I've always said that I don't like using water to clean my coils because constantly heating and cooling them that rapidly stresses the metal and can make your coils wear out quicker.
Sorry, can I just make Chris? You can't put that up.
I've always wanted a better way to clean coils. And those things came out, and I took a punt on one. And fuck me if it wasn't like one of the best things I've ever bought. And then I went and bought 2 more, and then I bought a Coil Master one. I'm fucking littered with them now. I've got loads of them lying around the place.
You can send me one when you send me your juice line to try.
Nah, you're all right. I'll send you some juice though.
Well, what date's the next posting date? 32nd of October.
I'll send you some juice. You're not having a brush though, mate.
I'd put them in freaking awesome.
I'll send you an RDA, but without a 510 pin.
Stop being a dick. I'd put them in fully charged.
Fully charged.
Chris hasn't used one, so he doesn't get to say anything.
I think I might have a Dremel attachment for like a wire brush, though. That might work.
He's always got a power tool for it, hasn't he?
Oh, it's like, it's not metal though. It's not wire. It's like plasticky. I've got 2. Is that a 3rd? No.
Right, my final donut of the evening. Dropping it in John O'Brien.
See, I've got these. I don't know whether they'd work though, especially if it was hot. Just melt.
Yeah, you'd be fucked with that.
Yeah, don't use them, mate.
I really thought this Dremel accessory kit would come in handy one day.
How long could you have been?
Absolute fucking arsehole. Do you know what my final boner that I was saving till the end of the day was?
What was it?
I'll drop it in John O'Brien.
Knew that was going to pop up. All I'm going to say is I'm much better looking than him, and my cat's better than him. Just saying.
Great minds think alike, Mark.
Oh dear.
Something's lucky.
Where's that going?
How do you think he's been? I think we'll open this up to chat. How's James performed this evening? Has he performed well?
Yeah, let's see some X1s in the chat if you'd like James back.
1 second, I'll recreate it for you.
X2 if you don't want to see him again.
Ever. We can arrange that. We know some guys.
There you go.
Oh, pussy. That cat actually looks petrified as though it knows what's coming.
Yeah, James, if he keeps hold of him.
Simon Barker. Who's James?
Never heard of that.
M9.
M9. Perfect. Next one. Are you getting some love, James?
He needs a
Fucking hell, James, you're doing all right. Somebody did X1 you twice, though.
I think Dale's show is lagging. Like, big time. He's like responding to things we talked about 10 minutes ago. So it looks like he's insulting James now, but I'm pretty sure that was a dig at me.
I think it was a dig at you, mate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, James, how do you think you've performed?
No, I've enjoyed it. It's been good.
We didn't ask you if you'd enjoyed it. We asked if you thought you were good.
I think I'm fucking awesome, so I can't really.
Right? You're one of my favourites. I like you a lot, but that doesn't mean everyone will.
I'm like Marmite. You love me or hate me.
Or we want you on the end of a knife.
Possibly.
I mean, you're a lot quieter when you're in public domain.
Well, it's obviously
You're nowhere near as gobby as you normally are, but
that will come in the hangouts later.
I think Dale's like 5 minutes behind. I really do.
I think you're like 5 minutes behind. I've just said that.
You know what? I think Dale's 5 minutes behind.
Just looking at the chat, guys, I'm pretty sure that Dale might be 5 minutes behind. So, James Clark, the man, the myth, the cat fondler.
The myth isn't a myth a female moth?
Where's he? Isn't that a moffette?
A moffette.
Can you put them in mods? Make them safer.
Moffettes, yeah.
You know what? I've enjoyed tonight. I might stay around for 10 minutes for hangouts.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed tonight, but how much of that is to do with James? That's the question.
Most of it, I'd say.
Most of it.
Nat, to be honest. Can she audition next week, James?
We're starting off with most of it from James. Now, have we got any bids above or below that?
Right, we actually need, in all seriousness, I think we need some female presence in the group.
I can get Nat on for you, mate. That's no problem.
I think we ought to talk Nat into auditioning next week.
I can get her on next week. That's no problem.
Yeah, and then we'll.
Ask her now if you want.
Is she going to come up with a main topic and 2 lady bonus?
Natalie. Yeah.
Does she get an option? It's kind of like we haven't given her a choice.
Quick.
Make sure her eyebrows are drawn on before you get her in. She gets really angry when you point out they're not drawn on.
Mark wants to know if you'd like to audition next week because they want a female on the show for once.
No, thank you.
He said no, thank you. In a really shy voice.
You've disappointed me, Nat.
He says she's too shy.
Oh.
We'll get it sorted, Mark.
We'll change that. Look at that.
No.
There's only 37 people looking at her right now.
Oh, poor girl.
So, what? I think I've really enjoyed this week.
I have.
I'd like to see James dressed in a dress and come on next week pretending to be Nat.
Just to get more airtime.
Yeah. I want to be back. Well, it's been emotional, guys.
Are we just going to leave James lurking on John O'Brow then?
Please move me from John O'Brow.
I think he can go.
So we put him up one to meh?
Oh, come on. I think I've done better than meh.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I don't know.
John O'Brow then, yeah?
I don't know. Frostbox.
Meh and pretty good, I think.
I don't know. Frostbox and Skronkers are in pretty good.
That's a good point. Pretty good's kind of the danger zone, isn't it? You've got to start living up to something.
To be fair, he is one step above Martin Reeve, and he's in there. So
I forgot Martin was in there.
Come on, I'm better than mine.
We'll put him in pretty good.
Pretty good, eh? He's as good as a pair of standard ceramic tweezers, but he doesn't fucking break as easily.
And
Life goals.
And Kylie Minogue.
Life goals right there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, folks. Thanks for joining us for episode 115. Do You Even Talk, Bro? Brought to you by the master of Do You Even Build, Bro? Thank you very much. Hope you have a cracking week. We'll catch up with you next week, where I'm sure we'll have a new auditionee, potentially. What is that, Chris?
It's LED light strip. I'm just trying to see if it's bright.
Hold it up to your eyes. Don't hold it up to the camera.
It's my lightsaber.
Yep, so potentially next week we might have James in a dress just to try and get some more airtime. Have a cracking week, guys. Thank you very much. We will see you next week.
See you
Thanks,
later.
everybody.